Alright, so kule lesson le ngifuna continue futhi sibheke vertical distance, horizontal distance and diagonal distance, okay? But then la kule question le into identify ukuthi sine vertical distance question la. So now bheka focus yethu la kule question is on 6.4. Okay? Whereby bathi if mn is equals to 6 and then kuba nama follow-up questions. Alright, so asicale ngale instruction lapha phezulu. So instruction city in the diagram below, A and B are x-intercepts. Alright, fine. A and B, x-intercept of f of x, and f of x born with la. It is the quadratic function, right, whereby it is x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, and then but a straight line G, which is g of x, right? Straight line G, which is g of x, through A cuts F at C. Should lie at C, that is the point of intersection, right? And even A is the point of intersection foot. And then, and the y-axis at 0 and 1, so bakuneza y, the y-intercept yellow g of x, right? And then M is a point of on F. So where is M? M now la phezulu, but it is a point on F, which is true because M ula ku F of x, right? And N is a point on G, now end up phansi, which is a point on G of x, which is true, such that MN is parallel to the y-axis. So MN is parallel to the y-axis. So the statement lesikutshela ukuthi MN is a what? Is a vertical distance. So last in the vertical distance la, which is MN, right? And then basically MN cuts the x-axis as T, which is this point T. Alright, so if we have a vertical distance, into kumele uyinote ukuthi x wala ka M no x ka T no x ka N is the same value of x, right? And then kuhlukela bo y. And now kuzofuna le distance le, the vertical distance mn, kuzomele minus abo y, and then mele uthi top y minus bottom y, right? So kuzobo y ka m minus y ka n, right? Okay, so now as a sketch last is born, and then 6.1 show that g of x is equals to x plus 1, right? So the question there angeke ngiyikhave la kule video because focus la ku 6.4, but the information lesi sizoyisebenzisa u g of x basitshela lapho ukuthi x plus 1, right? Because azange basinikeze u g of x lapho phezulu kule statement, but manje basitshela la ku 6.1 ukuthi g of x is equals to x plus 1. Alright, and then 6.2, but calculate the coordinates of A and B. A and B, my x-intercept aga f, right? And whereby y equals to 0, but angeke ngiyikhave la kule lesson le. And then 6.3, determine the range of f, nakhona angeke ngiyikhave la kule video. And then 6.4, but if mn is equals to 6, right? So the question le is different from la manye ama question in the sense that lana basinikele distance, right? But kula manye ama question bekumele sithole leyo distance, and most of the questions bekumele sithole maximum distance. So but if mn is equals to 6, right? 6.4.1, determine the length of OT. Determine the length of OT, okay? And in this case, uyabona ukuthi o ula origin, and then ut ula kule line le mn, right? So in this case, sine horizontal distance. So sinama distance ayi-2 la, sinale horizontal distance which is OT, sinale vertical distance which is mn, right? And ukhumbule ukuthi if it's a vertical distance uminus abo y, but if it's a horizontal distance uminus abo x bakhona, right? So into kumele siyithole step number 1 before calculate it distance, kumele sithole ama coordinates akhona. So kuzomele sithole ama coordinates aka m nama coordinates aka n in terms of the vertical distance, right? And kuzomele sithole ama coordinates aka o nama coordinates aka bani aka t in terms of horizontal distance, alama points ayi-2. But la ku origin siyazi ukuthi 0 is to 0. So x wethu sesiwutholile la nalo y wethu sesiwutholile la, right? So mele si-identify ngapha ku m no t no n, right? But asiqale sidile ngale vertical distance. Let's check le vertical distance, right? Vertical distance kuzomele sithi u-y walapha phezulu minus u-y walapha phansi. So asi-identify lama coordinates and then bese siba no t. U-m i-coordinate laka x laka m lizofana ne-coordinate laka t laka x, right? Lizofana futhi ne-coordinate laka n lelaka x. So yonke indawo la u-x uyafana because it's a vertical distance, right? Kuhluke just abo-y phela, right? But now ubheka u-y wala ku-t, since u-t lies on the x-axis, angithi on the x-axis y is equals to 0. So i-coordinate laka t kahle kahle ku-x is to 0, right? But then what about i-coordinate laka n? U-n nawubheka la u-n uku-g of x, right? So u-y wala ku-n uzoba u-g of x, okay? And u-g of x wakho bakunikile la bathe u-x plus 1. So instead of ukuthi sibhale u-y or instead of sibhale u-g of x izobhala u-x plus 1. So i-coordinate la u-x plus 1. And what about u-m? I-coordinate la u-y wakhona yilo f of x, right? And f of x basinikele lapho ukuthi ungu-x squared minus 2x minus 3. So sesi-identify ke manje ama-coordinates wethu, right? And ungakhohlwa ukuthi i-coordinate laka x liyafana yonke indawo, right? Asicale ngale information abasinikeze yona which is mn, but mn is equals to 6 lapha. Can we calculate mn based on lama coordinates lawo? Sinawo ama-coordinates lana ngisho. So as calculate mn distance yethu, and mn is a vertical distance, right? So naku vertical distance minus abo y. So kuzoba u-y wala phezulu, top minus bottom, right? U-y wala phezulu bani kuzoba yilo waka m. U-y waka m kuzoba u-x squared minus 2x minus 3 minus u-y wala phansi, u-y waka n u-x plus 1. Okay, so mn is equals to x squared minus 2x minus 3 nas multiply x nalo minus lo kuzophuma minus x kuyophuma u-minus 1 lapho. So nasi simplify u-mn vertical distance izothi x squared minus 3x minus 4, right? So now i-distance yethu la u-mn, right? So now ubheka la kuye besifuna i-maximum bese differentiate si-equated to 0 solve for x, right? But manje it's not about maximum and minimum. Basinikile i-distance lapho bathe u-6. So la ku-mn sizofaka ubani u-6. So u-6 is equals to x squared minus 3x minus 4, right? So manje sifuna ukusolva for u-x lana ke manje, and lo x esiwusolvayo yilo x wala nalo x wala, still futhi lo x wala ka t. So yilo x lo esobe siwusolva la, right? So asolve for u-x la kule equation le. So izothi 0 is equals to x squared minus 3x minus 4 minus 6. Na transpose lo 6 ayengale, right? And then izothi 0 is equals to x squared minus 3x minus 10. Okay, so now solve for x la, it's either ungasebenzisa factorization method or ungasebenzisa i-quadratic formula, right? So nasifactorize la ama-factors wethu lawa esizothi siyawa-adda asinikeze u-negative 3 naso multiplier asinikeze u-negative 10 kuzoba minus 5 na positive 2. Okay, so now solve for x, so x minus 5 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0, and x kuphuma u5, or x kuphuma u-negative 2, right? So as check ukuthi imuphi x ekumele siwusebenzise la kahle kahle ngoba kuphuma ba-x abayi-2. So nasibheka la u-x wethu siyabona ukuthi on the left hand side of le y-axis or ungapha ku-negative x-axis. Kusho ukuthi i-answer yethu lapha kuzoba yile yo negative. Kusho ukuthi i-answer yethu lapha kuzoba negative 2. Right? So u-x wethu sesiwutholile lapha, our axis equals to negative 2. Kusho ukuthi la kule coordinate u-x wethu la u-negative 2 and then x wethu nala ku-negative 2 and u-x wethu nala kuzoba negative 2. Right? And still nangapha nasingafaka u-negative 2 nasingafaka u-negative 2 lana overall answer izothi negative 1. Kusho ukuthi lana kuzoba no-negative 1. So ikhona la ka-n u-negative 2 no-negative 1. Right? And then same thing applies nasingafaka u-x abe ngu-negative 2 lapha. Right? So izothini negative 2 squared then negative 2 minus 3. Right? So lana izothi negative 2 squared izothi 4 and then negative 2 times negative 2 kuyophuma positive 4, so it will be 4 plus 4 which is 8 and then 8 minus 3 which is 5. So in this case lana kuyopuma 5. So now ama coordinates wethu la, but ukhumbule ukuthi lana bathi determine the length of OT, right, that lies in the negative x-axis. So length OT is a horizontal length or horizontal distance. So sizominus ini, sizominus abo x bethu. So it means OT sizominus u-x ongapha ka right which is u-0, right? Then minus u-x wangapha ka t, u-x ngapha ka t u-negative 2. So minus 2. And the answer yethu negative times negative from positive. So lana kuzoba positive 2 units. Right? So sesitholile la 6.4.1 and then 6.4.2, hence write down the coordinates of n and sesiwatholile ama coordinates of n la phezulu. Okay? So the only difference in the question le ukuthi we were not determining the maximum distance or the minimum distance, but in this case we were given the distance. We may just substitute it, but the steps, step number 1 still the same, identifying your coordinates. It's either the coordinates akho uyakhona calculator or you are given in terms of x, right? And then ubenama distance I2, in this case we work as a vertical distance minus abo y, and when a horizontal distance minus abo x. Okay,